Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of BS Drunk Movie Reviews. This is a weekly podcast, and we do upload the video version of this to our YouTube channel, so you can check us out there. My name is Matt, and as always, I am being joined by my sister Vetta.
Hey.
Vetta, hey, what's up? You doing all right there?
I am.
Drunky
Feeling
McGee. And on this episode, we are going to be talking about Little Italy.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah, we are. Super fun. Before we get started, Vetta, on our review, what are you drinking? For those listening to our podcast, she put a chip in her mouth before I asked her, and then she took it out. We have too much laughing dead air on this podcast.
I can't help it. I'm sorry. I am drinking a Dirty Shirley.
Nice. I drinking my classic wine, but it kind of goes with this movie a little bit. I am drinking a Cabernet and everything. So yeah, fancy. Yeah, wine's my go-to. I didn't.
Yeah. You know what you would have said to me? What are you drinking? And if I had a glass of wine, I'd have been like, red wine or white wine.
That's funny. So, what did you think going into this movie? Like, what were your
Well, when you picked this movie, I watched the trailer and I went, why? What? Why do I have to watch this? And I was like, not excited about it. But the cast, I was like, it has so many great people in it. So I was like, somebody's got pictures on these people that they were able to convince them to do this movie.
Right on.
So I had low expectations.
Oh, well, I was very excited to watch this movie. You have no idea how excited I was to watch this movie. Yeah. Before we get into our likes and dislikes, I have some things that I want to talk about and everything. I don't know if you have things you want to talk about, but the first thing I want to talk about is that this movie is so aggressively horny. Like, everyone in this movie is horny to the nines. Like, no joke. Like, they are horny.
They're over the top.
Oh my God.
Throwing every cheesy line you can think of.
Yeah, like when what does he say in the pizza shop? And he's like, that was my nickname in college. Like something.
And every time they do that, they're like, hey!
Yay. I wrote it somewhere in here, but he was like, what's the matter? You afraid you're gonna get wet? And I'm all like, are you fucking kidding me right now? They even had that long shot with the feet just so that guy could smell her shoes. And I'm all like, what is going on here? Like, this is insane. Like, why is everybody so aggressively horny? Even the old people.
Right. The old people. The Starbucks cracks me up with the old people, but we'll get to that.
Oh, we will get to that. I have things to say about everything in this movie. Okay.
So one of my things beforehand is like, back in like the early 2000s, like ABC Family or something like that did a movie. And I swear it's the same movie.
What's it called?
It was called Pizza My Heart.
I'm writing this down. We're going to do that movie.
And it's about two rival pizza families of rival restaurants whose children fall in love.
We're going to do that movie just like as like a side companion to this movie. Also, I have to just say about this movie is, speaking of, there is so much pizza in this movie, like, no joke. Like, no, there's like pizza in this movie is a side dish to pizza. And like right. when he's like making her dinner and he's like, those are just the appetizers. I'm like, is it pizza? Because that's all you fucker. Like, there's a part where she's like doing the job she was sent there to do and making the menu. And he like shows up on a ladder and gives her pizza. And I'm like, oh, great. She had pizza for lunch and now she can have pizza for dinner. And I love how every time she takes a bite, she's like, this pizza's so good. I'm all like, It's not that good. Just because you add dates to it doesn't mean it's good.
She's a chef, like a trained chef. You can't tell me when she was in London, she didn't come across a pizza place that wasn't doing non-traditional pizza.
Right.
Such a thing.
Right. So one thing I want to also talk about is, so when I watched this movie, I laughed out loud, audibly out loud. Okay, so this takes place in Little Italy, not New York, fucking Canada. Like I was all like, there's a Little Italy, Canada. Like, we're gonna make some pizza, eh? I'm all like, what is going on here?
Like, that's what I mean. Like they say, hey, like Italian way. Like, shouldn't there be like like a Canadian?
Yeah, like and
like,
and they're so like, I'm all like, these people are not Canadian because they're just too mean for Canadians. They wouldn't be this mean. like I'm just like, I'm like, Little Italy. I was like, does this place really exist? I'm all like,
I think it does, because we've been to Chinatown in Toronto.
Shut up. This is insane. Look at Canada try to copy Manhattan.
There's New York, Chinatown, Chicago, and San Francisco, and Toronto. I think there's one in Vancouver too.
Oh my goodness, that's so crazy.
I love it. I don't have to go to another country.
That's I mean, I think I just love that it's like our little Italy, and I'm all like, in Canada. Like when
she's in London and she tells Jane Seymour's character that she's like,
Dr. Quinn medicine woman.
Yeah. She's like, you have to go home. And she's like, what? And she goes, I know, you have to go back to Canada. And I'm like, Canada's not bad. Why do you say it like she's going to a third world country?
Right. Okay. So speaking of Dr. Quinn medicine woman, the whole time that scene was going on, I was like, is this just a Gordon Ramsay ripoff? Because they even did the...
No, she says she's meaner than Gordon Ramsay.
I mean, not really. Everything she said when she was like, if there was any more oil on the plate, the United States would invade. And I'm all like, what? And then she's like, I'm a stupid sandwich. I was like, what? This is a joke I've already...
A moron sandwich.
Yeah. Yeah. It's so... Yeah.
So no, Nikki, Emma Roberts' character, says at one point during that whole thing, she's like Gordon Ramsay, but worse, or something like that.
I mean, she's really not. I mean, she seemed
I've seen Gordon Ramsay make people cry on that Hell's Kitchen.
Yeah, she seems very, very not that. Okay, so one thing I did love, I love how he pulls out the soccer ball from underneath the bar, and then they go outside and play a soccer game in the rain, and then they fall over and they're like, and everything. And I'm all like, yeah, I wouldn't have gone out in the rain. I'm like,
no, you.
Yeah, and I love how everybody else has.
Drink.
Yeah, I love how.
Here and drink.
Oh yeah, they did so many shots, which I was fine with. I was like, yay. Yeah, it was so crazy. Like,
can we back up though before that and talk about my favorite character in the whole movie, Luigi?
Oh, Luigi.
I loved Asian Luigi.
Yeah, he was pretty great. Yeah. Is that your hands on my ass?
Why he adapted to being Italian. I love it. But I loved him like when he's in the bar with the Italian belt on and he's like shaking it, and then he turns around and he's Asian. I was like, this is awesome.
Right on. Yeah, this movie was very like, they took a lot of stereotypes and cranked it up to the nines. Like, I'll tell you what, I wrote down, okay, so this is the last thing I want to talk about before we get to the last thing I want to talk about before we get to our likes and dislikes, but the part with the weed scene. Okay, so weed doesn't do that. I've never done weed and been like, ooh, let's have a party, and dancing on top of a table and everything. But those people were like, so like they were
more like if they were on like something else. Like,
yeah, like they went to a rave and they took something there and they were,
because I'm like, they should have had the munchies and wanted to take a nap.
Yeah, like I totally get them wanting to eat like a buttload of pizza, but I'm
Yeah.
not like the whole time I'm just like, and then when that old woman pulls that dude up and she's like, hello Aladdin, I was like, well, that was racist. And she's like, I wanted you to take me on your carpet ride, and I'm all like, is that a sexual reference to her beaver? Like, what is going on here? It was just so like, it was so crazy. Like that weed scene, I was just like, that's insane. Like, I'm sorry. I think the people that wrote this have never smoked weed before, ever. So
That, and they sure as hell didn't give a shit about offending anybody,
they did not. Mm.
which
So
I kind of love.
did you have anything else that you want to talk about before we get to our likes and dislikes?
No.
Okay. So what is the first thing on your like list?
It was Luigi.
Luigi. Gotcha. Well, I love how at the end when he confronts him, like when Hayden Christensen says, I don't remember what he says, but then he's all like, and he changes his accent and he's just like, listen, my dad kicked me out and everything because I'm gay. And he's like, and then he's like, I did like it when he's like, is that your hands on my ass? And I'm all like, I was like, it would be mine.
Chinese hug. Yeah, I know. I just loved everything about Luigi. Like the fact that at the beginning you don't realize that when he turns around, he's going to be Asian. And then he turns around and he is. And then he talks like he's full on from Italy and Italian. It's great. And then when he's like, he's encouraging everything throughout the whole thing. I loved the apartment when he's putting on his underwear. Oh, and he tells her she was great.
Yeah, that's so good. I would have done.
Did you watch the whole movie through the end when they're doing like the bloopers of that?
Yeah, I can't remember what didn't he say something like the sock or like?
Yeah, he couldn't get the sock to stay on his.
That's I remember. That's funny. That's so funny.
So I was like, even in the bloopers, Luigi's my favorite.
Right on. That's so funny. The first thing on my like list, and it's also the first thing on my dislike list. There's like two things, but and I already mentioned it, but the stereotypes in this movie are so like offensive because they're over the top, but at the same time they're very funny. Like the two Indian people are like, your mother is a cow. Cows are sacred in India. And I'm all like, what? What is going on here? You guys, cut it out. Like, this is insane. And then
these are just their jobs, but they've taken on the feud as well as if it's their own.
Right on.
And what are the odds that two pizza places are going to both hire two Indian employees that are their only non-family member employees?
Oh, I know, right? It's so funny. Like, yeah. What was the next thing on your like list?
I love the grandma and the grandpa. Like the whole time they're just kind of like doing their thing. And I knew from the beginning that the fight had to deal with them. I just thought it was more of the dads caught them.
Okay. Well, I was going to ask.
I didn't realize it was going to be as stupid of a reason as it was. I thought it was going to be like,
oh, go ahead.
Something way better.
I thought it was going to be something gay, like the one of them wanted to blow the other one, and he was all like, "No,
that kind of movie.
That,
not
dude,
that
I'm not even
joking."
They were like, they swear they would never tell the secret to their grave, and I was like, "Oh, somebody fucked somebody. Like one of them fucked the other one, or vice versa. Something happened. They blew each other."
I honestly thought they seen the grandparents like kissing or something, and then when the grandma realized they were watching, she like smacked him. So of course they started arguing over, something like that, like, oh, your dad forced himself on my mom or whatever. No, she'd be lucky to have him, that type of thing.
But yeah, no. And then it would ended up being something so stupid that I'm all like, what? This was a bad
all over this? What to name the damn pizza.
Yeah.
Spoiler.
All right. The next thing on my like list, it's also on my dislike list again, but it's Hayden Christensen's accent. It kept coming in and out.
It?
Yeah, like I'm all like, dude, you gotta commit here. Which one is it? Like, are you like, hey, how you doing? My name is Tony, or it's just like, hey, my name is Tony? Because the girl, what's her face? She didn't have an accent at all, and I love how
she spent years getting rid of it.
Yeah, and but you know what's crazy is, so Hayden Christensen, the kid actor that played him, didn't have an accent, but the older him has an accent. I was like, that's not how that works, honeybee.
Oh,
like,
and what did you think about them blowing up the produce on the old guy's porch?
Dangerous. What is going on? And I like how we were little shits. No, you were insane shits.
You were dangerous.
Yeah. You can't just be letting off fireworks next to somebody. There could be bad things to happen. What was the next thing on your like list?
I loved the Starbucks. Well, first of all, I loved when they get kicked out of the church.
Oh yeah.
Like, the fact that they were like hooking up in the confessional.
Right.
And
They're
they get
naughty.
caught, so now they start going to Starbucks.
Yeah, right. Where she orders an immense amount of coffee at one point in time.
Well, no, at first they just drink the one. And when they're like drinking the first one, they're like, oh, we need more. And he goes and gets her. But when she goes there by herself that one day and she's got like 15 cups of a caramel, what were they drinking?
Caramel macchiatos.
Yeah, those
Does
things,
it matter?
it really doesn't. It all
They're all
tastes
delicious. I'll tell you that.
Right?
Starbucks
They
is
all are
fucking good.
delicious and taste the same for the most part.
It's just sugar with a little bit of
sugar and
coffee.
espresso. Sugar and espresso. That's all it is. But I'm sitting there going, okay, that's like 15,000 calories of empty cups sitting there and at least 30 shots of espresso. She would not be sitting there that calm. She would be.
Oh, right. Keep them coming. Like what?
And I love how I've seen this actress in so many different ethnic backgrounds. It's amazing. I've seen her play Greek. I think I've seen her play Jewish, and now she's Italian. I'm like, she's good.
Yeah, she's great. She's great. She's my favorite part of my big fat Greek wedding.
Yes. Even my Greek wedding too, when they like grab the back of each other's necks.
Right on. So the last thing on my like list is the cop frisking scene.
Yes, that's mine too.
Because she's not frisking him, she is sexually assaulting him.
Is molesting the shit out of him.
And she's all like, oh, what you got here? What you got here? Something pointy? No way, that's his dick, honey. You know what you're talking about.
Something hard, as she says.
Yeah.
Is it soft?
Yeah.
Or is it gonna be hard?
Are these guns? What are these guns? Huh? And then just, like, it was so over the top. And I'm just
like, it. She's like, we're confiscating those pizzas for evidence.
Oh, right on. Yeah, and I'm just like, you know, in a Me Too world, honey, this is you're sexually assaulting this man. You can't just be feeling around on his butthole.
It almost felt like she was like a stripper that was dressed as a cop that snuck into the arrest.
Right on. So, all right. So now that we're done with our likes, let's move over.
Do you want to say something I did think of that I would like to add to my likes?
Yeah, go ahead.
Moms hiding the wine in the flower basket.
I thought that was so stupid. What if dirt got in there?
That's why I liked it, because I was like, it's funny because the people that put it in the movie thought it was clever. But A, how long does that wine sit there? B, what if a bird lands on that basket and takes a dump in that wine?
Yeah, plus they only got like maybe one sip out of it. Like, what's going on here?
Before their husbands came? Yeah.
Yeah, which I mean, like, controlling much. Anyway. Right. So moving on to our dislikes. What was something on your dislike list?
I did not like either of the dads. Sal and Carlos just annoyed the crap out of me.
They were kind of douchey.
It's like, and then when they separated, did either of them move to the other side of the town? No, they literally went next door to each other. Yeah, like, which you hate this person so much, you rented the place next door. Right. You could have went across town. You never have to see him.
Yeah, it's insane. Like, it's so stupid. It's so stupid. My first thing, well, I already talked about the stereotypes, but I didn't like the bad jokes. Like, we're like, how do you make your crust so light and fluffy? Well, then I add flour and then I add a little bit of nunya. What's nunya? Nunya business. And I'm like, that is so fucking stupid. Like, who wrote this? A 12-year-old? So dumb.
Yeah, I also didn't like how no one thought that adding any new ingredients to pizza besides traditional was a good idea. That was just crazy.
Oh, I know, right? And I love how
Even Emma Roberts' character, who's a professional chef, when she's at his house and he's putting the pizza in his actual, little
pizza
stone
oven at his house.
Right? And he's like giving her all these amazing like pizzas. And she's like, "Oh, this is great." And I'm like, "Dude, what are you talking about?"
Right. And she's like, "What, have you ever tried these?" And he's like, "Figs." And she's like, "It adds the perfect amount of sweetness to the spice." And I'm like, "Get the fuck out of here, you two." I also, real quick, going back to the dads, because I forgot to say this while you were doing it. I love when the girl's dad, I don't remember his name. Sal. I love how the one he has a customer, like they're both aching for customers, and the one customer mentions the other guy, and he's all like, "Oh," and he turns, and I'm all like, "Hey, asshole! I don't think you're in the position to be turning down paying customers."
I don't think you have to pay for it when he ruins.
Yeah, exactly. And me, I'd have been like, it was just so. It was like, I don't know. It was a weird response. So. What's another thing on your dislike list?
I didn't like the grandma always having her hands inside the tomatoes.
Right on. And I love how she's like talking to her daughter or her granddaughter at the beginning. She's like, "You gotta squeeze it like you're squeezing the love of a heart of a man that loves you," or some crap like that. And I'm like, but then you find out it's just anchovies. And she just stirs in anchovies, and I'm all like, so that bullshit about the squeezing of the heart of the love of a man, whatever that bullshit, fuck you, grandma.
Like, we never once seen her wash her hands, but she's always sticking them in the sauce.
For sure. The last thing on my dislike list was that shoe sniffing scene. I was like, "Ew, you're a gross person."
I can't handle that. I have issues. There's nothing attractive about feet.
Yeah, he's like, "Yeah, look at that big toe." I'm like, "What about her big toe, weirdo?" I'm like, but at the same time, I was like, when they made a big deal about taking off her shoes in the backyard, and she's like, "That's a good point." And I was like, "No, that's not a good point. I wear shoes in my backyard. What are you talking about?" I was like, "Who just walks around their backyard with bare feet?" And like, "What's going on here?" And she's like,
I think the difference is I just, no, gross. No.
Yeah. So I was just like, and then I was like, and then he showed up. I was like, "Oh," and then they showed her feet, like they did a close up of her feet. And I was like, "Oh, that's why," because so Weirdy McWeirdson can sniff her feet, her shoes.
The creepy guy in there. Yeah.
All right. What's the next thing on your dislike? Do you have anything else on your dislike list?
I don't think so. No.
Okay. I didn't the grandparents falling in love at Starbucks, I felt like was just like weird because
the barista really strange too. That was all super excited.
Yeah, because like all of a sudden everybody, it happens at the airport too, but everybody that's around them just stops and is paying attention to these two old people, and then like, "I will marry you," and they all just start clapping. And I was all like, "Listen, if that happened to me, I'd be like, what's going on? What?" But no, everybody literally stops and turns to them and is like paying attention. I'm all like, "What's going on here?"
Yeah. I will be honest, I've never been in a restaurant when someone's been proposed to, so I don't know what my reaction would be.
Right on. Okay, so here I have okay. So Emma Roberts' character, whatever the girl's name is, she says this. I wrote it down because I have a question for you. Okay, so she goes, "That's the reason they call it Little Italy, because nothing ever changes here." What does that mean? What does that mean? Nothing ever changes here, so they call it Little Italy? What are you talking about, Emma Roberts?
Change and be called Big Italy?
Yeah. I'm so like, as soon as she said that, I asked my wife, I was like, "Do you know what that means?" She's like, "I have no idea what that means." I was like, "Yeah, me neither." I'm like, I don't even know how to like interpret that. That's why they call it Little Italy, because nothing ever changes here. What's going on here? If you're listening to this and you know the answer to this, please DM us on our Twitter, because I am so fucking confused by this line.
For sure, because I don't get it either.
Yeah. And I just want to say one more thing. This took place in Canada. I did not see one poutine in this movie, and that's just blasphemous in my opinion. I'm sorry.
Nor did you hear an A
Yeah.
at all, and
Yeah.
not an Italian A, a
Yeah.
Canada A.
Yeah, I didn't.
Their customers aren't Italian.
Yeah.
Not all of them.
Yeah, I didn't. I also did not see one ketchup flavored potato chip. I'm sorry, but
or a person stressing their O's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And here's another thing I have for you because I wrote it down as soon as it happened. Why is there a pizza contest and a bikini contest at the same time? What is that? Like,
well, and why is it's not a bikini contest? It's Mr. and Mrs. Little Italy. What? They just happen to be in bikinis.
Well, I was just like, as soon as I saw it, I was like, what is this about? I was like, I've never been to a pageant where all of a sudden people are making pizza. So weird. I was like,
apparently you've never been to Little Italy.
I have, and I don't plan on anytime soon. Okay, so
and did you not realize before the pizza contest ever happened that one of the two of them was going to swap ingredients?
Oh no! Yeah,
win?
As soon as it happened, I was like, "Oh, somebody's doing something, so somebody else can win and everything." She just happened to do it to him, which I love. Right after the pizza contest was over, she had her bags ready to go. She was like, straight up.
But when she gets in the cab, she's in jeans and her chef outfit. When she's going through security, she's in a fucking pink dress.
Oh, she changed in that taxi.
In the cab?
Oh yeah, he saw her titties and everything, but. I just, as soon as she was done, I was like, oh, she has her bags packed. She's ready to go. She's like, I'm getting the fuck out of Little Italy. Why? Because nothing ever changes.
Nothing ever changes.
I was just like, man, this movie, I love this movie. It fucks me up, but I love it. It's just so crazy. Oh, and I wrote this down. Okay. The old lady is pregnant. What? What is going on? She's like 90.
That's not real.
Oh, I was just, are you sure? Because I was like, I didn't get joking out of it.
I took it as a joke. She can't be pregnant. She's like way past menopause.
Oh yeah. That's the thing. You never know. Those Italians, they like, I don't know. They squeeze the heart of a love of a man in the tomato. That might stop menstruating.
That it was a joke. I didn't take it.
Oh, did they? Because I was like, as soon as they said, I wrote it down. I was like, she's pregnant. What's going on here? I was like, where's the kitchen sink? Because they're just, it's insane. So yeah, that's all I have. Do you have anything else?
No, I just go, everyone should watch it. It's an experience. I mean.
Oh, is it?
They do. I think everyone should watch it. It's an experience.
Okay. All right. So let's move on to our questions. And so for your question, what is your question?
So my question is, what is your favorite movie that's like a Romeo and Juliet adaptation? Like this movie, it had the premises of Romeo and Juliet, two battling families whose kids fall in love.
It did. I wrote down West Side Story. I haven't seen the new one, but I love West Side Story. It's so good.
I haven't seen the new one either because I'm very much they're gonna ruin it.
Right on. I do want to see it, but yeah, no, I love West Side Story. It's very good. I like all the music, all the dancing and everything, but yeah, that's I almost pick Nomeo and Juliet, but then I was like, I do love it, but we're just gonna skip it. What about you? What is your
I picked Warm Bodies.
Oh, I like Warm Bodies.
I do too.
Yeah, I was and everything. No, I like that movie.
In love, and he's from the zombie family, and she's from the human family. It's great.
No, that's a super fun movie. It's a little weird. I wouldn't have fucked him, but whatever.
No,
yeah, no, I don't care. I don't care how adorable he is and how much he can talk. I still wouldn't have done it
because it's kind of hard to defend yourself when he's balls deep in you.
You're right. Exactly. All right. So my question for you is, what is your favorite movie about pizza or involving pizza?
Okay, so mine is Wine Country
Oh, okay.
because the whole movie happens like they're all best friends because they worked in a pizza place in Chicago together through college, and they've like stayed friends through the whole thing. And at the end, like it's the 50th birthday of one of the women, and for the birthday celebration, they like recreate the restaurant and everything. So like there's really never any pizza, but if it wouldn't have been for the pizza place they all worked at, they wouldn't be friends.
I have to admit, I've never seen this movie, so I'll have to go
It's
and
on
check
Netflix.
it out. Oh, is it? Hold on. I'm writing it down. Maybe
It's
we'll do
got
this.
Amy Poehler. It's got an excellent cast. I'm drawing a huge blank.
It's got a bunch of SNL people.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
Maya Rudolph.
It does have Maya Rudolph. And then is Sherry? No, Sherry O'Terry's not in it. What's the little lady from SNL? What's her name?
It's got the lady in it from, have you seen the movie Sisters?
Yeah. Rachel Dratch. It's got Rachel Dratch in it. And then
she the time lady that's obsessed with the clocks.
And then Anna Gasteyer from SNL. I don't remember. Yeah. She does like the preacher people. Anyways, yeah, no, I haven't seen it, but now that you mention, I will try to watch it.
Well, and it's got wine in it, even though at one point one's like, what is this called? And she's like, white wine. And she goes, I fucking love it.
That's good. I like it. I'm going to watch that this weekend. Lovely. All right. So my favorite movie about pizza / involving pizza is Mystic Pizza. I love this movie. It's so good. You know, the three friends working in a pizza shop that's just amazing. And then I love when the critic comes in and he's like eating it, but he only takes like one bite and he's like, ooh. And then the owner is all like, it's not goat cheese, I'll tell you that, and everything. And I just like that Julia Roberts is dating the rich kid and everything. I like the scene where she dumps sewage into his car because she thinks he's cheating. He's like, that's my sister. And I'm like, oh, you done fucked up. And he's like, but at least you committed. I was like, oh, that's so mean, but so good. And then the one girl is fucking that married man and he doesn't leave his wife for her, and she's all like heartbroken. I was like, bitch, why do you look? He wasn't going to leave.
How
his wife.
Often do they actually?
They never leave and everything. So I really like that movie a lot. And I've always like growing up, I'm all like, I want to try this Mystic Pizza, but it doesn't exist. I'm like,
no, it doesn't exist.
That's like, I'm like,
are you like me? I always Google when there's like a restaurant and they like way overplay it. I'm always like typing it in the Google going, does it exist?
the Little Italy. I want to go to Little Italy so I can go to Sal and Vic's or whatever the fuck it's called, so I can try their perfect crust and perfect sauce and everything.
I don't think the anchovies make the sauce better because I've had anchovies. They're not good.
I wouldn't think it makes it that much better either. But the next time I make pizza, which might be this Sunday,
you're gonna soak some anchovies in the sauce?
Maybe I will. I'll have to go buy some because we don't keep those lying around. Right? You know, and also speaking of that, you think that somebody would notice just random anchovies just
because
lying
people
around.
All the time are like, oh, I taste this. And it's so big on having a refined palate.
Right on. Yeah. Me, I do not have a refined palate. I'm like, I taste delicious.
Right.
Like,
or I taste, this is not good. Don't
right.
Taste
This.
I
think I taste, hey, this pizza, I think I taste tomatoes. Could
there be tomato? Maybe a little cheese on this pizza. Do you think they use cheese?
Right on. So is there anything else you want to say about this movie? Any last thoughts?
Nope.
Would you suggest this movie?
I would just because I think if you watch this movie, it should be on pizza night.
oh, trust me. When I ate pizza while watching this movie, and me and my kids, we had pizza night last night because it's our tradition every Sunday to have pizza night. So, yeah. So
Yeah.
Yeah, and I would say like this movie, this is a very horny movie full of stereotypes and pizza. So if that interests you, this is the movie for you. Very much so.
Right.
Yeah. All right, you guys. Thank you so much for listening. Make sure to follow us on Twitter at BS Drunk Pod to stay updated. We'll also be posting the video for this on our YouTube channel, so be sure to subscribe to us on there. We are at BS Drunk Movie Reviews. And don't forget to drink, recap, review, and repeat. Bye, you guys.